Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. We in episode 64.
Yes,
My name's
yes,
Jared.
it is.
I got my boy Denzel with me, and we just gonna jump right into where we left off at before he hit record on this, man, because we was in the middle of a big debate. So we might as well finish it up right here on the show before we get into anything else, man.
Yeah.
What were we talking about here, man? I'll let you set it up for the people.
All right, so we were before we hit record. I was talking about we were talking about music, and I don't even know how Bow Wow came up. You probably remember better than I do, but we were sending messages to each other, and then you said something about Bow Wow.
I was insulting Music Soul Child, and I compared him to Bow Wow. That's how we got there.
Music Soul Child compared to Bow Wow. I don't know. This is how our conversations just go. Yeah. But then I asked the question, man, how come Bow Wow never got better? For somebody who started rapping at 12 on the big stage, just never got better. Like, I don't think he ever got good. Like, why did he never get, like, why? He's just not that guy when it comes to being barred up.
Yeah. And for me, I look at it from the point of view that Bow Wow is, he came in really making his bread and butter the girls, you know what I'm saying? Making the little songs for little girls and the teeny bopper music and whatnot. And that's fine. Mm-hmm. Everybody had they singles and everybody got they dance songs. And he came from under that So Def branch where JD is all about the hits and the dance records, that Atlanta vibe, you know what I'm saying? Because JD old school Atlanta. So he came with a lot of that. And don't get me wrong, So Def had barred up people. The Brat was barred up, you know what I'm saying? But because of the Brat also was more aimed towards an adult crowd, you know what I'm saying? Even when she was young.
Right. Even when she was young, yeah.
Bow Wow came out immediately trying to get the kids, the youth and whatnot. So when he tried to make a transition over into being respected as an adult, I don't think the work ethic was there in order to become really barred up. You know what I'm saying? We talked about off the air, he had ghostwriters and he was getting better with the ghostwriters. But by then, I don't think he had the respect of the people. You know what I'm saying? And it was too late.
No. But the crazy thing is, I remember, and we're a little older than Bow Wow, not by much, a few years. And I remember coming up and looking at, I remember when he was like 12, I'm like, yo, that's dude nice. Like the way, even if somebody wrote that for him, just the way you able to spit that, I'm like, yo, I give him props. I was, you know what I'm saying, cheering Bow Wow on. I wasn't a fan of him, but at the same time, I'm like, I see what this little kid doing. That's dope. But then as he aged, it's just like you never gained my respect as a rapper. Like, just never resonated anything on any level music wise. Like, and we talked about, Wayne had something to prove, got it out the mud, and you know what I'm saying, Bow Wow came in platinum as a teenager. Wayne didn't
break
have
that down. Break that down, though. We got to cook on that because people didn't hear that Wayne part. You just jump right into Wayne.
Okay.
The comparison of Lil Wayne came in because Lil Wayne was a platinum artist when he was 14, 15 also. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His first album, whatever. So we got into the whole back and forth how Wayne was able to become respected versus Bow Wow couldn't. And
Bow Wow peaked. And then Wayne just kept going, kept getting better. It's like Wayne maybe felt like he had something to prove. Bow Wow maybe got to a point of feeling like he didn't have anything to prove. But at the same time, I feel like, as a kid rapper growing up to an adult, like, you should still have that chip. And I feel like, in a way, he still, his character-wise, as we spoke about, you ain't got nothing to draw off of as far as like inspiration to having that chip, to something to prove, to continue to get better. Like, I just never saw that from, like, you in the game all these years with all these peers and they shooting past you.
See, I saw glimpses of him having the chip, but I think every human ain't created the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people is animals and others is just, they get mad for a little bit and then they let it go. You know what I'm saying? And I think Bow Wow's that, and Wayne is the beast. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, I'm locked in for real. Because like I said on air, Wayne is one of them people. Wayne got that work ethic like a Michael Jordan, like a Kobe Bryant, like a Tupac Shakur. It ain't many people with that type of work ethic that'll get in there, lock in, and they are 100% dedicated to their craft, like all day. Like, this is what I do. This is all I'm worried about. Wayne's that kind of guy, man. Like, he got a lot of. I don't know who got more material out there other than him. Maybe Gucci Mane. Like, Gucci Mane got a lot of work, but other than that, I don't know.
But he
like,
ain't as nice though. Gucci ain't as nice as Wayne.
Yeah. He ain't as nice as Wayne, but I mean, like, them the type of dudes is like got high level work ethic though when it comes to hip hop. like a lot of music done.
I just don't see how you're given a lane. You're given a lane. And even with that lane you've been given, how do you not take full advantage of it? Like, you could have been the greatest of all time based off the lane you were given. Wrong with it. He could have been the greatest. Though, Bow Wow could have been, Shy Moss could have been the greatest rapper ever.
But he had
could have been that lane.
Hey, but look, he had a silver spoon, bro. He like
spoiled kid syndrome. It's like you try to give your kids the best, and then it's like, hey, look, I got all these resources available to you. Be great. Go be great. While somebody else don't have anything, and they're able to shoot up to the moon because they had to grind to get it, and they appreciated the levels and notches along the way. But then we already given something at that high level, and you're able to do things and create. You can. Whatever. Yeah, I know I got the resources to be able to be this and do that, but I ain't gonna.
It's exactly that. Because they both Wayne and Bow Wow both had the same status. Now they reached it at different times, you know what I'm saying? But like they both had similar paths in the beginning, but Bow Wow's was shiny and glittery. It was beautiful. Like little girls chasing him on 106 in Park, and he was all over TV and everything else, you know. And Wayne had the same success, but it wasn't pretty like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was it was a very dirty process. You know what I'm saying? He, like I said, he got his out the mud. Not to say Bow Wow didn't have a grind. I'm sure he had a story, you know what I'm saying? But the way it played out was very perfect. It was Cinderella-like, you know what I'm saying? And Wayne's won't like that, you know what I'm saying? And that, I think that it reinforced his work ethic versus the other one. You know, it's just like it gave him a relaxed demeanor. My feet kicked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, arrogance, you know, versus that Wayne didn't necessarily have. And maybe because Baby won't paying him good like that, he felt like I still got to grind. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, but it was they work ethic night and day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Night and day. Bow Wow had movies. Bow Wow had the whole world in front of him. You know what I'm saying? He ain't a movie star today and he ain't a rap star today. Like, he had everything.
Yeah. You couldn't have had a more perfect, or I'm not gonna say perfect, because nobody's life is perfect. Nobody's avenues are perfect. But you couldn't have asked for more. For one human being, you could not have asked for more when it comes to entertainment and getting into the entertainment business and being able to take full 1,000% advantage. If you ask me, outside of Michael Jackson, based on the trajectory and opportunities that Bow Wow was placed in at 6 years old, around Snoop, around JD, he should be the biggest entertainer next to Michael Jackson based off of the lane you were given.
He should have at least been hip hop's Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Hip-hop should have been hip hop's Michael Jackson.
Yeah. But, you know, hey man, I know we talking about him and whatnot. It might sound like we talking mess about him, but he had a successful career, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I'm not ashamed. No. I wish I could have had a snippet of that.
Yeah. His career was great. You know, he left meat on the bone. You know what I'm saying? But that's
a lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah,
it's like, but it's just like when you look at Black excellence and you look at culture, like you say, our type of culture. I want to see somebody go at it like Mike did. Mike was a kid star, and Mike ain't leave no meat on the bone.
Mike had that work ethic too, though. You know what I'm saying?
He did.
Mike had that work ethic, and Joe instilled it in him. You know what I'm saying? From a young, and he had that. Mike was still a hard worker. You know what I'm saying? They talked about how
Bow Wow needed.
He's a perfectionist.
Bow Wow needed a Joe. Is that what we saying?
Yeah, Jermaine should have been Joe. He got with Jermaine when he needed to get with Joe. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem, man. Jermaine won't star, and I ain't talking Dupree. I'm talking Jackson. But you know what I'm saying? He got with Jermaine. You know what I'm saying? Wrong person.
Yeah, I feel you. Hey, but look, man, let's get to these stars of the show. Enough about these other stars. Let's get to these stars of this show. Because I'm kind of excited. All
right. Well, I'm less excited. Not to say I got nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm just less excited than you. So I'll go first. I got this week. I ain't even took it out the cellophane, man. What am I doing? I got an Undercrown all deck top 10.
Like Undercrown. I like Undercrown. Okay.
Boom.
We got any details on that?
Yeah. Let's see what I got here. It is a San Andreas wrapper and Nicaraguan origin, Nicaraguan filler with a Connecticut and San Andreas binder.
So, there we go. Okay. I like it.
And you know, this is by one of our favorite companies, you know what I'm saying, with good old Drew. So we'll see what comes out of it. Yeah,
I expect nothing less than a solid stick out of that smoke.
This right here, man. I got like a little, I don't know what that is. Slide on and off, man. Look, little ribbon and stuff, man, to go down the side. But look at Drew Estate with the aesthetics.
Got the lingerie on the on the stick.
Ooh, I'm about to strip her down, boy. But I'm glad you said that.
Got the lingerie on. Hey, look. So, man, I ventured out. I was like, I have to find a cigar spot in my area because my spot just wasn't getting it. The spot I've been going to the last couple of weeks. I gave him a shot. I gave him another shot. I think 3 shots. 3 strikes you out. So I finally found another spot around here. Went up there and layout was beautiful. They had the spread. Everything. Any cigar line that you could probably think of. I saw a lot of names that, man, I haven't seen that cigar in a long time, so I was happy to see that. A lot of H. Upman, which is a brand I really like. So I'm going to have to grab some of them. Don't see H. Upman in the humidors as much anymore. I really don't. It's like they're almost with that Alec Bradley syndrome as of late. So I got to find out what's going on with H. Upman. No, they ain't that bad. But I haven't been seeing them in the humidors. Have you?
I see them. You know what I'm saying? They don't take up a lot of space in it, but I can find one if I needed to.
Okay. Yeah. I just know, especially in Virginia, Old Virginia, I didn't see them much in Old Virginia. They were missing a key piece, though. They were missing Davidoff. They had no Davidoff sticks anywhere. And they had a huge spread of cigars.
Hey, look, man, were you in a lower class neighborhood?
No, it was a smaller city outside of San Antonio, but it was a decent area.
I mean, you know, I guess they say they clientele don't afford Davidoff. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say, get out of that neighborhood, brother. Like,
they had the Cohibas, they had the Placencias.
Yeah. Hey, man,
no Davidoff though, so I'm a little disappointed about that. But however, I did run into a good spread of Macanudo, and I haven't smoked Macanudo in a long time. It's like in that H. Upman category of cigars I like, but don't see them as much. Macanudo is one of those. And I ran into this Macanudo Vintage Maduro 1997. You see that metal, like a little nice cigar holder, like while you puffing it. Makes you feel a little classy. So I like this. I got my chain on to go with the
yeah, you got your little classe clicker on the side, man. Hopefully that thing
a little ting ting to it.
Maybe it'll get hot and you have to drop it in your lap. You know what I'm saying?
Let's hope not. We don't need that on the show. No bloopers today.
Yeah, we need a blooper reel, man, for season 2. I see you got your V on it, man, so I just had to join you, man. I went straight.
Okay. Got your cut going. I'm using a torch. I did get matches, man, but I set my matches down, and I have no idea where I put them. So we're going to use a torch. It's cool.
Torch
no big, though. No big.
Nah. I got a backup set of matches here. Papados.
Okay.
But
Papados?
I'm gonna go with the torch instead though.
Hold on. So what is Papados doing with matches? They serving cigars?
They should be. I don't know. Oh man, my torch, man. I should have filled this thing up before I brought it over here.
You need a butane.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it done though.
And man, just remind me of that first cigar experience in Miami. Having that seafood sitting out on Ocean Drive. After that seafood, that cigar. Papados, what are we doing? What are we doing? Hey, and to give you some quick background on my cigar real quick. So wrapper is a Connecticut broadleaf, which those Connecticut wrappers, but in the Maduro, we actually like those. Dominican origin, Brazilian, Dominican, and Nicaraguan filler. So we got a lot going on. Got a lot going on in the fillers here. And for some reason, that Connecticut broadleaf Maduro wrapper, it allows for the cigars to do a lot. I have noticed that the more complex the cigar, like that, the more that's in it, the best wrapper to put on it is that Maduro, Connecticut broadleaf Maduro wrapper. It kind of makes everything even killed. So definitely enjoy that.
Yeah, most definitely. Upon the beginning, sometimes you just get that, it hits you initially, you know what I'm saying? Not enough where you can assess it, but it gives you a feeling, right off the bat feeling, you know what I'm saying? I'm always looking for that with a cigar, just to see what's my initial feeling I get before I can assess what I'm tasting, what's on my palate, you know what I'm saying? Not anything about the actual smoke.
Yeah.
It gave me a feeling, and I liked it. Kind of put me in the vibe of like how I used to feel about Edge back in the day. It gave me that type vibe right off the bat, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, okay, I like what you're throwing at me already, man. You put me in a nice little zone. It's a lot of richness, I'll say, from right off the bat.
Okay, from under crown. Nice. And that initial feeling is important. How are we starting our smoke off? Are we starting our smoke off where I got to make sure I'm settled in a sense? Or is it one of those cigars I can smoke on the go, not have to pay too much attention to it, or something I got to take in? And this is kind of one of those now too. I think that Brazilian is playing the piece in it right now. We got some pepper right off the top, like really some pepper, like a nice little kick. Was not going for a peppery smoke today, but I got a nice little kick off the top.
I got a lot of earthiness off the top. A lot of earthiness. And like I say, it's a very rich feeling cigar. And the strange thing is there's like a chocolatiness that's on my palate afterwards that I can taste. Okay. But I'm not picking up on it on the inhale or retrohaling necessarily. It's just leaving that on my palate. Wouldn't even say sweet. You know what I'm saying? You ever had the chocolate that ain't really sweet like that, but it's
like a semi-sweet chocolate. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, more like that is how it is. I can taste the chocolate, but it ain't sweet necessarily either though. Like it's just a chocolate. Cocoa, maybe cocoa, I don't know, whatever the word is for it, But yeah, so far so good, Okay, but that's what I expect from Drew.
Way to go, Drew. Nice little solid start. Like I said, this bad boy right here, peppery off the top. I'm getting this pepper off the top.
Hey, bro, what's...
Think sun-grown, a sun-grown stick. What you saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, think of sun-grown stick, like how your most sun-grown are like nice, harsh pepper right off the top. It's kicking right now. It's definitely kicking.
Do you know the irony in that, though? Is that you said you wanted to do a pepper stick this week. And you did one by accident.
I did.
We were supposed to do a show based on it, y'all, and it'll probably still come next week or, the week after. But
yeah.
He told me last minute, and I didn't. I'd already had my sticks.
And you had your choices already.
Yeah.
Now we're still gonna go that pepper route because I want to find that strong pepper taste one that is specific to a pepper experience. When I went through the outline of this stick, it didn't say it was supposed to give me a lot of pepper. It did say it was some spice in there, but not too much. So I'm expecting this to kind of dial back at some point. I'm expecting this to dial back.
Okay.
Hey, yo, so check this out, man. So I got a question for you.
What's up?
It's the idea of labeling. So I was watching Music Soul Child, some interview with Math Hoffa this morning, right? And the label of Neo Soul was thrown out. And I was watching something else, it's not too long ago, like maybe 3-4 days ago. Can't remember exactly the complete topic. But the idea of labels came out again. And it's like shying away from labels. And it brought me to, like, is that where we are in life now? Because we non-binary. Like the idea of being labeled. Do you find a problem, whether it's in today's society or just in today's society, or how we grew up in the past, the idea of being labeled? Like, have we gotten to the point of wanting too much independence from labels? Because I feel like labels are important. I feel like labels define things, and just because it defines something doesn't mean you have to stick to it. But it's to me, it's okay to identify with something. Being put into a category, say, hey, yeah, you fit the mold of this. And it's like this particular interview, Music Soul Child was like, well, just because I look like this and I sound like this, it doesn't mean that I was that. And the other guys, well, you dress like this and you wore the big hat and everything was earthy. And like, it's Neo Soul. It's got to be that. And he's like, no, it's not. And I remember that big debate, especially with Neo Soul and them not wanting that label. I'm like, what's wrong with being labeled something? If something sounds like New Jack Swing and you got the boots on and the leather vest on, it's New Jack Swing. Yeah. If you got the triplets in the joints and it sound like trap, it looks like trap, it's trap. But it seems like people are having issues with being labeled something. It's like, how dare you label me? But then you fit the mold of the label and you have an issue with it.
Yeah. I have zero issue with labeling. Labeling is communication. Mm-hmm. Efficient communication. That's its sole purpose, is to be able to communicate something effectively. I give it a label, something we can all agree to. If it meets these requirements, is that. Hell, your name is a label. You know what I'm saying? It's just for the sake of communication. That is it.
Especially your last name.
Yeah. It's just that. It's nothing more. Like people to me, it's, you know, and I hate to boil it down because people gonna take it as disrespect, but it's insecurity. You know what I'm saying? You're insecure to the point that you can't just understand innately. I am not these labels, but these labels are used so we can all be on the same page. You know what I'm saying? It's simple as that, man. Yeah. If I say everybody in a white shirt go stand in the corner and everybody in any other color stay there, you're not a white shirt guy forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? But in the moment, you're that. That's your label, so we can communicate easily, so I don't have to call all y'all by name. Then me and you in our white shirts will go walk in the corner. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not
white shirts.
But I'm not white shirt guy. You know what I'm saying? But I fit the criteria for the moment. Like, it's people overthink this stuff, man. It's not a big deal. It's just easy communication. Categorize everybody to keep it simple.
And here's the thing that I have an issue with, but was just having thoughts and ideas about when this whole conversation was going on. It's like, okay, yeah, even if I decide not to be that anymore, I cannot be that anymore. But what I created in that time frame, or what I was in that time frame, if it fits that, it fits that. If I was a criminal at one point, I might not be a criminal now, so don't label me a criminal. But did I criminalize, and was I categorized with criminals because I did criminal activity? So my work back then was criminal activity. It is what it is. I'm in the military. I might not be in the military in 10 years from now. But guess what? I'm categorized as a service member during that time. Now, once I get out and I don't want to be that anymore, I don't have to associate with that anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like the idea of this. I think we're getting too far into a society of being able to choose your own label, dispel a label, not accept a label. You know, we can't be what we are supposed to be. Like the whole idea, you might get us in trouble, but you have male parts and male anatomy, then you probably are a male. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. But you get to pick and choose and say, no, I don't want to be that anymore. Well, you sounded like neo soul. You sang neo soul songs. You had the appearance of that collective of neo soul artists. That's neo soul. You can't just say and choose, hey, I don't want to be that. Yeah, I know I look like this. I know it sounds like that, but I'm not that.
Yeah, man, people are too tied to these titles. And I think that's why titles don't bother me, because I have no attachment to them. I understand their purpose and what they are. And I understand I am not just my title, but I wear many hats in my life, and it doesn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? I wear a lot of hats. You got a hat at your job. You got a hat at your house. You might be a husband. You might be a son, a cousin, an uncle, you know what I'm saying? A father, a doctor, a podcast host. You can be a lot of things. You can be a reformed criminal. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can be all of these things, but that you're not exclusively whatever your particular title is for the moment. It's just a way to explain stuff, man. People, like, if you eliminate all the titles, then how am I going to I'm going to run out of adjectives. How am I going to describe you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
people are ridiculous, man. It's like a dog. Dog don't know he a dog. He just lives. He just exists. That's something we created as a label. So when we see one running at you in the woods, you can say, watch out for the dog.
Dog's coming.
Dog is coming. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That dog doesn't know that you call him a dog. That a rhino doesn't know that his name is a rhino. That's how we identify a rhino as. This is what he is.
Just a form of identification. Nor does he care that you calling him a rhino. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's just existing. Like, I just got to be able to.
That's our word, our
We're
term.
going to get rid of all of these labels. Car. I like to be able to know the difference between a car and a truck. Let's not get rid of the label.
You can't call it a car or truck anymore. Yeah, it's not a car or truck anymore. Because we don't want to.
How do I communicate then? If you're going to get rid of everything, you know what I'm saying? And everybody going to be particular about what you call them. Labels ain't even intended with disrespect. That's the thing that's to make people so sensitive. It's just factual. Why are you taking it personal? Like, what difference does it make?
And then there's ways too, like, hey, if you don't want to associate with that label anymore, disassociate with that activity. Like, don't get mad at the label. Get mad at the fact that you participate in the activity. Change your activity. Okay. Now, what you did in history is still going to be what you did in history, but what you are now is not what you have to be now if you don't want to associate with that anymore. Like, the label is the label itself in its entity. Like you said, it doesn't define you. It defines you in the moment, or it defines what the thing is in the moment. I mean, granted, there's things that in life that we can't change, you know, but when we talk about these menial labels, like what we call artists, just accept it. If I'm a college student in the time where I'm a college student, guess what? I'm a college student in that time. Now, once I decide to not go to school anymore, or I graduate or whatever, and I'm not in that status, then guess what? I'm not that anymore. The label is the label. If I'm thugging, I'm thugging. I must be a thug. Now, the only issue I have is mislabeling. I'll be unfairly mislabel somebody because of some characteristics might match. Now, does the characteristics and the activity all come together? Yeah, there's more criteria that you have to check. There's more boxes that you have to check than just one to say, okay, yeah, this is what you are. Now, miscategorization, that's where I have an issue.
But see, that's even then that comes down to a label that's a subjective label. And you're going to have those.
I'm not talking about prejudices. I'm not talking about that. Stereotypes and prejudices.
But I'm saying, like, there's subjective labels. Smart, dumb, fat. Those are subjective labels. They exist, you know what I'm saying? But everybody's standard for it is a little different. Then you got fact labels, fact labels, you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
black, white. And even then, colors can get into shades and stuff and it can get weird, you know what I'm saying? But even then, it's just factual. Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, if I say that's grass, that's a tree. It ain't no subjective to it. It is what it is. That's a tree. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
subjective labels, objective labels.
We can get into subcategories and whatnot, and you can get real picky and specific, but even then, that's where people mess up because we lose context. Don't nitpick. You know what I'm saying? If I say tree, don't get into that's a palm tree or that's an oak tree. I don't care. It's a tree. Like,
yeah, I think that's the issue. We want to take the objective and make them subjective.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. And I think that comes with too much freedom of thought.
Yeah.
Too much freedom of thought. Too much liberation.
Get out your head.
Too much. It's like, no. What's subjective is subjective. We can't change that. I mean, we can change your subjectiveness, but we can't change the idea that things are subjective or that's a subjective thing. And then we have objective things we can change, the things that are what they are. You can't move those things around and bleed one into the other. They all fall in their own columns.
Yeah.
These are subjective things. These are objective things. And I think what a lot of times what people want to do is take them and switch those things around and now make interpretations and assumptions and things like that. Comes with too much freedom of thought.
Yeah. Hey, look, man. Hey, back in the day, we would just say, we had something we would call people, man, when we were like, man, a smart dummy. That's what a lot of this is, man. It's just people, man, that I'm sure I said this to you years ago. There's some people that don't deserve an opinion, man. And
we had a conversation, I think a few episodes ago, the Terrence Howard clip with the math.
Yeah. You just, come on, man. You trying to be too smart, man, and you sound stupid, man. So leave the thinking to the thinking people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody don't have to be an intellectual, man. Just be regular, man. Do what you do. Just sit there and pretend. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the rest of this stuff, leave the math for the mathematicians and stuff, man. It ain't for you, man. 1 + 1 and 1 multiplied by 2 and stuff. That ain't for you, brother. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, how do you reinterpret something that's already been proven fact? Like, I think that's the issue. Like, we try to reinterpret things and replace labels, replace this. And like, no, this can't. The challenge of things. I don't know how you feel about the flat Earth situation and all that stuff, but I was talking to this guy who just moved from Alaska. He was stationed down in Alaska, and I was like, living in Alaska kind of debunks that whole flat Earth theory, doesn't it? It's like, so you think the Earth is flat? It's like, yeah, but living in Alaska, you kind of just like that thinking idea goes out the window because you just see the way that the days are gone and your months and days and how they're just vastly different from how it is in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Because of where you are geographically. There's no way that the sun's going to stay up for 6 months if the earth is flat versus living down in Texas or Georgia and you get day and night every single day.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Unless your piece of land don't move. So
everybody else's does, but yours don't.
Yours don't, yeah. So when the earth, every night when we go to sleep and the earth flips over like a pancake, your little slither of land just stays there in the pan. Like, all of this is like, it's too much thinking, man. It's people trying too hard to be smart, man. Stop trying to come up with a new theory, man. Like, everything ain't out to get you. And just because you can't wrap your mind around everything don't mean that it ain't real. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
just because you don't get it and you don't understand it.
Just because you can't understand the difference between multiplication and addition don't mean it now that multiplication is false. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just don't get it. Like, there's a lot of people that don't understand maybe they walking on the earth and it feels flat that it's still got curvature to it. Just because you can't wrap your mind around why you ain't fell off the side yet don't mean it discredits it.
Maybe this came from period in time throughout the most recent decades, previous generation, of not wanting to offend people and making everybody feel like their opinion is valid. You know, you remember this, I guess, being in class and say, hey, everybody asks a question. There's no such thing as dumb questions. When in fact there
That
are.
was before the questions got really dumb. But yeah.
And no, you can't down somebody's opinion. So now when you can't debunk somebody's opinion or call somebody, yo, that idea was stupid. Stop it. You know, when that became offensive to do, now just everybody just ran with their own thoughts. And like now we have this whole world of polarizing thoughts from whatever end to whatever end. Is like everybody is just so free thinking now that we don't want to stick to what is actual fact. Like you said, subjective, objective. It's like you can't switch those things. We can't be so free thinking that we just get weird.
Well, the free thinking comes from the internet. That's the internet's fault. The fact that we gave everybody a voice and some people didn't deserve a voice. Back in the day, you could only have a voice if you were talented. There was a standard for having a voice. You had to earn a voice back in the day, and everybody just got one. And so now people who didn't deserve a voice per se get a voice. And now people who don't know any better got information overload that they just start leaning towards voices they probably should steer clear of. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Go
ahead.
So this just made me think of like how it's probably daisy chain. So you had that first person who thought outside the box, and it could have been on the money a little bit, or maybe off the money a little bit. And then you have somebody else daisy chain from that, and they have their free independent thought based off this free independent thought, and then this free independent thought. And then before you know it, we got all of these chains of ideas and thoughts that are so far removed from the fact. Now, I'm not saying don't be a free thinker to be able to think away from what somebody's telling you, because somebody could be giving you false information. You need free thinking to get back to what's reality and what's actual fact. You know, if you're not free thinking, you might get stuck into that trap. So not saying don't be free thinking, but have some kind of discernment with it. Like, I think we've gotten to the point of so much daisy chain, so many free thoughts that now we're just so far removed from common sense.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is the thing. I think you're a free thinker. I'm a free thinker, but neither one of us are so hung up in these conspiracy theories or trying to correct science or trying to correct these great leaders that have spent their whole life dedicated to subjects figuring out the answers for us. We haven't tried to outthink them and do it in a 10-minute conversation. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what people do. Yeah. They come up on the spot with these thoughts and stuff, and they feel like, oh, this is right, because they can't wrap their mind around what these people have been studying their whole life to come to this conclusion. These theories don't get approved overnight, like by these scientists and all these different theorists and whatnot. These people spend years and years and years and decades concluding this stuff before many intelligent people finally agree to it. See, where we are free thinkers, that we don't go and try to outthink those people of that stuff. We're free thinkers in the sense of we'll come to our own decisions and stuff like that on how we handle our life. And that's totally different.
I'm a free thinker for myself. Yeah,
I'm not a follower in that sense. But people look at it like I'm not a follower. I'm not going to believe what Einstein said. E can't equal MC squared. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that type of free thinker. Like, I'm a free thinker.
I don't know if E equals MC squared, but at the same time, I don't care enough to challenge it.
I'm not challenging it. I'm gonna take it as fact until somebody higher than me disproves it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
have some kind of real epiphany or that tells us, you know what? E really doesn't equal MC squared because I had this experience. That's probably never gonna happen. It's like it's not that deep. Like, if the earth is flat or if it's not flat, until I hear about somebody falling off the edge of the earth, and I see a waterfall, maybe that before I leave San Diego and go down the ocean, and like, yo, I see water falling over the edge. It might, earth is round as far as I know. I don't know.
Yeah, man. But people overthink that stuff, man. You need to be overthinking when somebody tell you, let's run up in this grocery store and steal all the food out of Walmart. overthink that and think for yourself. That's being a free thinker instead of letting your dumb behind end up in jail.
Yeah,
they
that's
owe
when
it
it's
to
beneficial.
us.
That's when it's beneficial. I get no benefit from trying to figure out why 1 times 2 is not really 2. It's free thinking to a fault.
To a fault, man. Yeah, man. I'm keep the labels, man. Y'all get over yourselves, man. God knows, man, you arrogant bastards. Labels ain't bad, man.
And I think that, like you said, I think that's what it really boils down to. Like, it's that arrogance of, no, I can't possibly be what you're calling me. How dare you call me that? You look like it. You sound like it. You probably are it. Just saying.
Yeah,
just saying. And if it's not, then prove me otherwise. If you don't like the label, then prove me otherwise. You know. And I'm pretty sure you've been unfairly labeled. I've been unfairly labeled. And all I continue to do was be who I am. If that label, I'm not going to sit there and, unless it's a detriment to my health or my welfare, try to dispel the label other than what I show in my actions. You know, back in the day, I had the hoodie, do-rag, Tim's, whatever. Somebody might think I'm a thug just based off the way I look, and they want to label me that. And that's when we talk about unfair labels. But at the same time, you know, I'm going to continue to be educated. I'm going to continue to work hard, continue to take care of my family, take care of my my lifestyle around me, and do the right thing. And guess what? Yeah. That label will be dispelled through time.
Yeah, it ain't your place to argue with it. That's their opinion, and they use their label how they want to, man. Like, how many times you been called ugly? Why get mad about it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
embrace it.
It is what it is.
Somebody gonna like how I look.
It's a subjective opinion, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? Like, people been crazy, man. I ain't gonna sit and argue with you if you call me ugly. Like, okay, man, you got it, bro. Okay. Like, who cares, man? Whatever. Like,
gotta be ugly to somebody.
You gonna be. Like, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. I'm not gonna argue with you over my intellect, over my appearance, or none of that stuff, man. Whatever you feel is what you feel. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something else I don't like. I don't like how black people keep trying to rewrite labels with our race. Oh, I'm a American African. I'm a African American. I'm a I'm not a Negro. Man, just choose one, man. I ain't tripping. Like, I still use black.
Don't tell me what you're not. Just go ahead, just go ahead and sign it to yourself. Guess what? I'm gonna still look at you and refer to you how I refer to you. If I choose to use African American, I choose to use African American. Just go with it. It's gonna be okay at the end of the day.
Just pick one. Yeah. Stop trying to come up with new ones. Like, God, no. Ebony and da-da-da-da. Man, who cares, man? Just, doggone, white people ain't white. But doggone, you don't hear them arguing.
But they go with it.
Like,
they
go with it, man. Choose a color, man. Like, choose.
Look, I guess I'm white today. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna be white for the rest of my life. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Just go with it. Look, it's not good. It's not that the biggest detriment to life. Now, in embracing things and like I'm black and I'm proud. I like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Let's roll with it. But hey, man, you ready to get to these reviews?
Oh yeah, it is review time.
Review time.
Yeah, let's do the reviews, man. Well, we got it. So, you want to go first or me?
Waiting. Let me go first. Because I had a lot to say with my cigar smoke at the very beginning with all the pepper. I will say this: the pepper dialed back nicely, and maybe it's a tribute to the Maduro wrapper. I'm not sure. I liked it. I got a lot of cedar and wood, but with some sweetness there. So like the sweetness came in like right after the spice kind of dissipated. So that was a pleasant treat, honestly, because I like that sweet and spicy. So that spice hit was like real peppery on the lips. But then on the back of the palate, that sweetness came, and that was a real treat. Not too familiar with Macanudo anymore. It's been some years, so trying to figure out, is this a style of Macanudo, kind of like what we expect from Rocky? You know, you're gonna get pepper off of Rocky, like off jump. But I liked it. Not a favorite smoke of mine. It wouldn't be something I would go with just because that pepper was so strong. If I'm not looking for If I want something that's nice and chill and even kill, I'm not gonna go pick the stick up. But if you do get this stick and you don't like the pepper, just sit with it a little bit, let it burn back, and that pepper will subside. But overall, pretty decent smoke. Gonna rate this stick maybe I'm gonna say a 3.5. 3.5.
Okay, 1 to 5, 3.5 is his rating. The Macanudo, what was that one more time?
Vintage 1997. Vintage Maduro 1997.
All right, cool. I got the Undercraft All Decked Out 10. And for me, I'll go ahead and lead with the rating. I'm going to go with a 4.1 out of 5 on this stick, which is...
State.
You know, to me, that's a nice normal Drew Estate number, though. You know, I think Drew hangs somewhere between that 3.8.
Yeah, Drew's a consistent 4. Range. Yeah. High 3, 4, low 4.
Yeah. So he fell within the range of where it's at. I did see this was rated a 91, and I'm not mad at that. If you go to 100, you know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at a 91 for it. I probably would have went about a 90, but 91 is good. You know, you get into nitpicking when you go to a point difference. But for me, what I picked up on, of course, initially was a lot of richness, a lot of earthiness. There was, chocolatiness on my palate left on it afterwards. Some of that chocolate is still there, but it has subsided where it's less noticeable on the palate afterwards. But the richness and the earthiness is still there, coming through. On the retro hill, I'm picking up on some nuttiness and some spice, but not black pepper spice, like more in that I guess cinnamon, that type of spice. But those are the main characteristics that I picked up on at this point in the cigar. Of course, we're got a little ways to go, but 4.1 is my score, man. I enjoyed it, man. Pretty good stick so far, and I will enjoy finishing this up.
Yeah, shout out to Underground. Shout out to Drew Estate. Very consistent. Very consistent. So.
All right, that was it, y'all. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to this week's episode 64, or episode 14, season 2. Anyway, y'all, we get with y'all next week. Y'all keep them sticks up high. We out.